Good afternoon, it's 4 o'clock. I'm Jack Cross for your Solent Sports News headlines. Breaking news in the world of cricket. We have cricket correspondent Joe Parker to tell the story of what's been happening.
So the breaking news is Essex County Cricket Club chairman John Farrar has resigned after a historical allegation that he used a racist term in a meeting in 2017. Farrar himself has denied all allegations, but Essex say they will review it and will see why it wasn't fully independently investigated at the time. Chief Executive John Stephenson went on to add that there is no place for discrimination of any kind at Essex County Cricket Club. This is a proud club with zero tolerance towards racism and discrimination of any form. This news comes just days after Yorkshire Chief Executive Mickey Arthur stepped down after a racist allegation made by former player Azim Rafiq earlier this month.
Sergio, what do you think is next for Yorkshire cricket?
I think that this report has obviously damaged their reputation massively. We've seen the ECB strip them of hosting any international games for the foreseeable future, and I wouldn't be surprised if the ECB will hand out further penalties in the coming weeks and months once more players are shown to have been those responsible, and I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a police matter within a matter of time as well.
Thanks, Joe. More on that as it happens. The organiser of a flight which led to the death of footballer Emiliano Sala in 2019 has been sentenced to 18 months in prison. 67-year-old pilot David Henderson was found guilty of endangering the safety of an aircraft last month. The plane came down in the English Channel. The player had been travelling to his new club, Cardiff City. The managerial merry-go-round is in full swing this autumn as Premier League bosses have faced the axe. Norwich are the latest team looking for a manager after they sacked long-serving boss Daniel Farke. Recently available Dean Smith has been in talks with the club, but the decision is yet undecided. Frank Lampard, who is also in the running, has ruled himself out of the race earlier today. However, one manager we now know is out house hunting is former midfielder and Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard, after he signed a 3.5-year deal to become Aston Villa head coach this week. Now for some local news. Eastleigh take on Yeovil at Huish Park in the National League. The Spitfires are looking to bounce back after a 2-0 defeat to Boreham Wood last Saturday in the FA Cup. The side currently sit in 13th position and have a game in hand on some of the competition. We spoke to Eastleigh striker Tyrone Barnett about the season ahead, as well as tomorrow's crunch mid-table clash against rivals Yeovil.
Promotion is obviously the aim for the club at this level. Obviously the lads we have and the group, the way we work and the group of players all together, we should be there or thereabouts. They're all big games, to be fair. We don't take any game as if it's guaranteed, but we take one game at a time. Yeovil's a big game, so we'll go prepared and go there tomorrow.
This evening sees the return of international football for England, who are looking to qualify for the Qatar World Cup in 2022. It's an important time for the country, but equally important for lower league clubs, who are looking to capitalise on the international break. Robbie Jones has more on the topic.
Sending it towards Mings, gets a little touch, comes through, John Stones!
This week and next sees the last international break before 2022, and there's some pivotal ties in countries' bids to qualify for the World Cup next year. With the England game growing in reputation in the Football League, League One and League Two teams have seen matches postponed this weekend due to international call-ups. Swindon Town are the only side in League Two who've had to postpone their match. That isn't necessarily bad according to the club.
Andrew Steele-Davis, head of media at Swindon Town. Obviously we've had our game against Crawley this weekend called off, which doesn't often happen in League Two, but I think given the amount of games that we played without a real pre-season, I think it's a good opportunity for the boys to rest physically and mentally and get ready for a busy festive period.
Johnny Williams of Wales was one of the 4 players at Swindon to get called up for international duty. With games stopping at Premier League and Championship level during the break, it gives fans a chance to watch matches lower down the football pyramid. In an attempt to get more fans attending their match during the internationals, National League side Eastleigh have offered a discounted coach travel for their away match at Yeovil Town, including a free scarf. Assistant manager Jason Bristow is all for the club's efforts.
Clubs are putting forward a lot of initiatives to try and increase the gates, and they're using the fact that there's no Premier League Championship games and trying to tap into that market really, which is a great idea. And I think once the the fans come through the gates and they see the quality of football that they probably didn't expect, then obviously the gates can hopefully continue to rise.
For fans of Premier League clubs like Southampton, the international break gives them a chance to watch other local teams. In Hampshire, there are 56 alternate clubs to watch for Southampton, albeit one being rivals Portsmouth, who they are unlikely to support.
So this week I'm going to go watch Tottenham play.
That was Southampton season ticket holder Daniel Butcher.
As a Southampton season ticket holder, it's nice to have the non-league football available on the international break.
For smaller clubs in Hampshire like Winchester City, they recognise the importance of the international break to try and get new fans in, according to the club director John McLaren.
We do deliberately target these gaps, not least because of course we've got Southampton very close to us, and a lot of we've got a youth section to the club as well, so we've got over 400 kids playing football in the club. So we deliberately target the parents that would be Saints ticket holders, for example, to get them to come along to the game and bring the kids.
It may not be the Premier League, but non-league matches do create great moments like this.
This is the last surely gasp chance for anyone to be king.
In football, England are preparing for another World Cup qualifier tonight when they play Albania at Wembley. They have a new face among the squad, as Arsenal's Emile Smith-Rowe could make his England debut for the first team. He's been drafted in from the under-21s, following a number of withdrawals from Gareth Southgate's squad, including Southampton midfielder James Ward-Prowse. The England manager insists Smith-Rowe isn't just there to make up the numbers.
This is a group that make young players and new players very welcome, so I don't think it's a difficult environment to fit in. His quality has been apparent in the way that he's trained, so he's ready, and we've enjoyed having him with us this week already.
In basketball, 4 players were ejected last night in the game between the Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers. We're also now live in the studio with NBA journalist Matas Baranauskas. Tell us more about what happened last night.
Yeah, so as you said, 4 players got ejected after Rudy Gobert and Miles Turner got into a scuffle late in Indiana Pacers' victory, and it was the first loss of the season at home for Utah Jazz. And the tussle began after Gobert appeared to pull Turner down onto the ground, with him after Turner blocked his shot at the rim with just over 4 minutes left in the game. Turner responded by shoving Gobert in the back, which led the Jazz center to bear hug Turner and try to wrestle him to the floor. And Donovan Mitchell and Joe Ingles, who got ejected as well, joined the fray as the members of both teams covered near the Jazz bench. So probably now Gobert and Turner might get suspended for at least 1 game, and I can see Mitchell and Ingles get fined by the league.
Thanks for that. That was Matas Baranauskas, our NBA journalist. Staying with basketball, courts are being saved across the UK thanks to the work of Project Swish. Their organisation has saved nearly 500 courts and helped improve nearly 2,700 more. Here is Max Timms with the full story.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer! They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Basketball fan or player in the UK, the sight of a worn down and netless court is a depressing reality for many. But thanks to Basketball England, things are slowly beginning to change. The organisation is running a scheme which will see basketball courts resurrected and revamped, which is named Project Swish. These work include providing nets, along with building and saving courts. GG 3on3 founder Martin Dian, who also does work alongside Project Swish, hopes their work will encourage more people to play the sport.
It's about seeing the net on the court. And this could be families on a basketball court, it could be anyone. But if you walk past a basketball court and they have some fresher nets on a hoop, the general aesthetic of the court and the whole park changes. If you see nets on a hoop to a basketball court with no nets, it looks like it's being taken care of. It looks like somewhere I want to play.
The hope with Project Swish is that it will help grow the sport as a whole in England through the scheme. It's believed that if the scheme is financially backed and supported, it will help the overall level of British basketball.
If we start having a bit more funding, yes, why not?
That was Solent Kestrel's coach Sylvain Donou
Look at Germany. Germany developed so much in the last few years, or the last 20 years, I would say, with Dirk Nowitzki. And now in Germany, you've got some great EuroLeague teams. I think we have the potential here in UK. You just need to have maybe a little bit more support.
In 2020 alone, the project built over 400 new courts, whilst providing nets to nearly 2,700 others. Basketball is the second most played sport in the UK for under 16s, but participation falls drastically past that age range. Solent Kestrel's player Mohamed El Nar believes that these courts will help participation in the UK.
I remember when I used to play with my friends when we used to go to the park, we'd always be like, I don't know if we should go and play today because the court's a bit rubbish. And so sometimes it demotivates you to play if the court's not very nice. Whereas if you know there's a nice court somewhere, you'll be more likely to go and play there and probably play more regularly as well.
Project Swish is even sending out nets to the public to put up themselves to help the revamp, but only time will tell the impact this will have. Max Timms for Solent Sports News.
Back to Doncic. Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
That was Max Timms with Project Swish. Now in F1, the contract for the Chinese Grand Prix has been extended until 2025, despite the event not being held for the last 2 years due to COVID restrictions in the country. The deal was due to run out at the end of next year, and the race will also be missing next year despite the planned record-breaking 23-race calendar. There also could be a delay to this weekend's action in Brazil, as there is a shipping issue at the Port of Miami, delaying teams from getting to the circuit. We are now joined by F1 journalist Luke Wallace, who will tell us more. So Luke, what's happening right now ahead of the upcoming Sao Paulo Grand Prix?
Well, Jack, fog drifted in over the Mexico City airport on Tuesday morning. That meant all the departing flights were delayed, as well as the flights coming in to collect freight and take it down to Sao Paulo were all delayed. Of course, F1 currently in the middle of a triple header. Like I said, Mexico City last weekend, Sao Paulo this weekend, and next weekend is the inaugural Qatar Grand Prix. That means that the teams have struggled to get the equipment for their cars, the engines and the hospitality and garage parts over in time. I know Haas 24 hours ago only had IT infrastructure in. They had nothing else at the circuit. And it has been chaos, really, for Formula One. Of course, this is a triple header spread across 2 continents, so they're already stretched enough as it is. As a result, the FIA have changed regulations from an 18-hour cut-off period for working on the cars before the weekend starts. They've changed that down to 3 hours to allow teams to make up for this time. Also for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix this weekend, it's devastating news for the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton. A new internal combustion unit means he'll drop 5 places on the grid. He's allowed 3 per year. This will be his 5th. And of course, this weekend is the sprint race. It will not affect the sprint race. If he finishes top of qualifying tonight, he will start at the front of the grid tomorrow, but will then take the 5-place grid penalty on Sunday. He's always struggled in Brazil. He's only won twice here. Crashed out in the lead in 2012, of course, and crashed in qualifying in 2017, which is something obviously he can't afford to do this weekend. Toto Wolff has admitted this is to avoid DNFs, as the durability of the engines isn't there, so it's a preventative measure. If you want to watch Formula 1 this weekend, the usual free park qualifying is on at 7 p.m. tonight. The sprint race is 7:30 tomorrow evening, and the race is at 5 p.m. Hamilton is 19 points behind championship leader Max Verstappen, with 4 races to go and 107 points still to play for.
Thank you very much. That was Luke Wallace, our F1 journalist. Now, that's all from us for now. I've been Jack Cross with Solent Sports News. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk, and check our socials on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.